Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy, and I help the helpers, the healers, and the light bringers of this world to live their most magical life. So if you are watching this replay on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already so that you can get notifications for all the videos that I'm sharing here on this channel. We are going to be diving into the weekly energy. This is my video that I do every week where we check in with the weekly energy so that you know exactly how to best approach the energy that we have going on. This is kind of like the cheat codes for navigating the energy that we have happening. We have a lot going on, but right now I'm recording this today on the 18th. And we are currently in the Arcturus gateway. So if you haven't caught that, I have that over on my Instagram and on my TikTok at Christy Clarity, where I do a reel where I cover the magic that is this Arcturus gateway. This is when Arcturus, the sun is aligned, or the star is aligned with the sun. And it creates this really magical, beautiful opening that opens us to love, healing, magic, beauty, just all of the good things, and definitely a lot of healing that comes with this energy. So if I were you, I definitely would take a little bit of time and energy to focus on conscious manifestation, or even to wish upon a star, knowing that there's some really amazing things that are coming into our experience. We're receiving a whole lot of downloads that will develop into either intuitive connections that we make, intuitive information. We are receiving these downloads that are helping to support our bodies and being able to hold more light because our planet is ascending. They are supporting us in our healing. You may notice that a lot of people are physically sick right now. And I really connect that with this gateway because sometimes when we are healing, there is a detox that's happening. And I think there's a collective detox that's happening. So if you've been feeling kind of off or feeling not quite right, know that there is a healing that's happening probably for you. Kathy says, I love Arcturus. Yeah, me too. I'm very connected with the Arcturian energy. So I really love this energy and this opening that we have going on. But if you want to learn more about that, I do have a short video, like I said, up on my TikTok and on my Instagram. So we have this going on until tomorrow, the 19th, this opening, but I really feel like the effects of this we're going to continue to feel, and it's this opening for some really beautiful magic that's happening. This energy that we have right now, we are preparing to shift into this Mars retrograde that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. And so I really already feel this energy happening. This is an energy where we want to make sure that we are checking ourselves, that we're taking a pause, that we're taking a breath before we're responding to things, because there is a lot of intensity to the energy and a lot of ability to be more reactive than we would typically be. And this is going to be advice through the end of the year and beyond while we have this retrograde going on, because it will make you more likely to react to things in a way that you wouldn't want to, or to be more angry or to be more anxious. So definitely be mindful of that. This is a really important time for us to be conscious of the choices that we're making instead of being reactive in that time. Taking a pause, taking a step back, and pausing before we respond to things. I also feel like this week when I connected with this energy, part of what I was connecting with was this understanding of things being stirred up in terms of our self-esteem, our self-image, our insecurities, helping us to have an awareness of where it is that we need more self-love, essentially. So know that you may find yourself being triggered this week, and that's all part of the process, because it's helping to show us where we need to do some work. And specifically, I think it's going to help highlight for us where we maybe don't feel enough in certain areas of our lives, or we don't feel like we're doing enough, or we are ourselves enough. And I think that that's going to be really, really important for us to be aware of. because there's an opportunity here for us to work on some healing around that and to begin to recognize that not only are we actually enough, but we always have been. And I think that that's an important thing for us to be saying to ourselves right now. That's a really beautiful affirmation to use right now, is to be, to remind ourselves that we are enough, right? Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm reading comments. So, but to remind ourselves that we are enough. So I am enough is a very simple but effective affirmation. Or I am enough and I always have been enough. And so to coach ourselves through that and to try not to get lost in the emotion of the triggers that are happening for us, because again, there's an opportunity to really heal that, to really take a step back and go, is that like my thoughts and my perceptions on that, is that actually true? And where do I need to work on that? And I also think there may be some misunderstandings in terms of our interactions with other people. One thing I've noticed through the many, many years that I've worked with people is that we can have this tendency to make assumptions about other people. So I think especially people who are energy sensitive, we feel the slightest shift in the energy, right? So if we're interacting with someone and we feel their energy shift, I think the human response to that typically is, oh my gosh, they just had a reaction to that. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Their energy changed. And I think that it's important that we challenge ourselves with that right now, that we take a step back and we ask ourselves, what other possibilities are there in explaining the reason that someone is acting differently toward me? Or, when I felt that energy shift, what other possibilities are there to explain the shift in the energy? Because most of the time, people don't care that much about you. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but what I've noticed is that people are so focused on their own stuff that typically they're not that worried about you. And, if they are that worried about you and they are trying to control you or to control some way that you are, that's not necessarily an energy that you want in your life anyway, right? But most of the time when we feel those shifts in energy, that's more connected with, they just remembered that they've got that they forgot something on their grocery list and they have to go pick that up. Or, they just thought about something that pulled their energy away. And it's, our energy gets pulled all the time, and that can create these shifts in energy. So my point is, it's important to take a step back and go, okay, I did feel their energy shift. I want to honor that, but at the same time, is there another explanation for that other than, that I've done something, or that they don't like me, or that I'm not enough, or whatever it is that we're telling ourselves. So I think that it's really important that we're being aware of this narrative that we have towards ourselves. And where do I need to tweak that? Where do I need to challenge that? Where do I need to start to talk back to that? Because if a narrative that you have running in your head is not serving you, then it's time to make a change. I think that we're working toward more and more becoming our most authentic selves and disconnecting from what other people think of us and what other people want from us and what other people want us to be, and honoring instead what our soul is and who we actually are, and allowing our authentic selves to just naturally shine through. And part of that is also going to involve us changing the narrative in terms of how much we allow other people's opinion of us to impact us. Now, I understand this is a lot of work, and I do feel like there's going to be some work around this week, but I think if we can be conscious of it and we can start to talk back to some of those thoughts and to challenge ourselves, it's really going to serve us so much more. I also feel like that it's going to be really important for us. Excuse me, my throat. Let me get a drink. Okay, sorry. I think that it's going to be really important for us. I talked about this in my last video, to continue to hold space. So what I mean by that is, if we've had endings, if we've made changes in our lives because we've been honoring ourselves and what our authentic selves want in our lives, sometimes that means that we've cleared some things, we've made some space in our lives. And I think that we have this tendency to want to fill that space as quickly as possible because that's just human nature, right? And it can feel uncomfortable to hold the space. And if you find things coming into your experience that really align with what you're looking for, then by all means, allow yourself to move forward with that. But I think a lot of the collective energy right now is in encouraging us to continue to hold the space, to continue to hold our standards, right? So if we become aware of something that we want and that we need in our lives, it's going to be really important for us to not lower that just because we want to fill the space. I think I said in the last week's video, space fillers are not full fillers, right? We want to be really, really mindful about what we're putting our time and our energy into, and that we are redirecting ourselves and continuing to hold that space for the things that we actually want. And I think there's this whole assessment that's happening right now where we're taking a look at, what do I actually want? And maybe that's really different even from a month ago. And so what am I going to do about that? And where do I need to set boundaries? And where do I need to raise my standards? And where do I need to honor the truth of everything that I want and need and am looking for in my life? This is part of that self-love as well. Loving ourselves enough to wait on what we actually want. And I think that that's really, really going to be important this week, this month, this year, always. But I think especially that is going to be coming up during this time. And I think that's where I talked about our insecurities being stirred up this week. And I think that can lead us to quickly seek comfort in things that only provide temporary relief, temporary comfort, aren't really aligned with what it is that we're looking for. So being mindful of all of that, I think, is going to help us to make the most of this week. And I think there's some really beautiful openings to love ourselves better, to continue to work on this journey of self-love, because we will always work on that. That is not something that we tend to just master. We always are working on that. We always can continue to develop that and work on loving ourselves harder. I think there's a lot of beautiful openings for that this week. Let's take a look at the cards that I pulled. So the first card that I pulled is the Four of Air, showing up in reverse. So where am I not listening to myself? Where am I not taking the time to really hear myself, to really hear what I want, to really hear what I need, to where am I maybe keeping myself so busy that I'm not listening to that? Where am I ignoring my intuition? And where do I need to tune in? What is it that my intuition is trying to tell me that I need to know? Honor that. It's really important that we're honoring that now and always. Seven of Earth in reverse. So Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Understanding that we have planted a lot of seeds, and that if you have been working on yourself or working on some things, know that those seeds are planted and that there is progress. So can we take a step back and recognize the progress, no matter how small that is, and honor that and appreciate that and appreciate ourselves and love ourselves for choosing to move in the direction of the things that we want to create for ourselves, and to try not to let our frustration with the level of progress that we're at to not allow that to shut us down, to not allow that to prevent us from having a gratitude and appreciation for how far things have come already. And I think that it's important to really look back, because you live with yourself every single day, right? So we can have this tendency to not recognize our progress in the same way that maybe other people outside of ourselves can see. So taking that step back and really recognizing how far things have come for you. We have the King of Water and the Knight of Water showing up. And I really feel like this is talking about this beautiful opening for love, whether that's self-love, whether that's, romantic love, whether that's love with the people in our world. There's such a beautiful heart-centered opening that's happening here this week. And it's going to be really important that we are doing our best to stay open, to keep our heart centers open, to honor that, but also to honor ourselves in that we're listening to like what it is that we truly, truly want, right? That's self-love as well. And recognizing what does not align with that. I think that's really important. But I do think there's some beautiful openings and maybe even some important new connections coming in or reconnections coming in, honoring ourselves, honoring our hearts, honoring our emotions, and maybe even connections, relationships moving into a new level. I think there's some beautiful openings, especially around this Arcturus gateway that we have going on. And we also have the Page of Fire, right? This is something new coming in, an exciting new opportunity, an exciting new adventure that you're starting, or just feeling like your passion, your excitement, your creativity is being sparked again. So notice where that's being sparked. Notice what's exciting you. Notice what's lighting you up. Lean in the direction of the things that are lighting you up, the things that excite you. We also pulled the Two of Swords and the Two of Earth in reverse together. Okay, so definitely we have some decisions. We're weighing out options this week. We are trying to figure out what it is that we actually want. And again, I think it's really important that we're taking that time to tune in and to ask ourselves, because I think that if you really, really listen, there's room for, or there's the ability for us to recognize where we are behaving in a way that is what other people want for us and from us, and what it is that we actually want. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think deep down we know what it is that we actually want. We may not want to disappoint people. We may not want to hurt people, but I think that it's important that we are honoring what it is that we really want and the direction that our soul is guiding us. And to have the self-love, to have the strength, to have the tenacity to continue to move in that direction, even if it pisses a few people off or it upsets a few people or people don't see the vision that we have for ourselves, but we have a knowing that this is the vision that's for us. So I think it's important that we're listening to that, honoring that, and moving in that direction. So as you're trying to explore what direction do I want to move in, listen to what your soul is trying to tell you. So those are your messages here for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If these messages resonate with you, I would love to hear from you in comments. Please feel free to share this video with people that you think it would connect with, or share it, to like this video, to heart this video, all of the things. It helps to support my channel and it helps to support my videos so that I can reach more people and connect with more people. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care, guys.